What is up, Planeswalker Static 6 back with some more Magic the Gathering Arena. I do, of course, hope you head over to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. It's a good deal and helps support the show. And in addition, if you use my promo code by May 20th, you'll be entered in to win one of 3 Richard Kane Ferguson playmats. Do, of course, excuse me, I just spent 3 hours playing Dungeons & Dragons on stream. If you haven't somehow check this out, go over to Merchant's channel, his YouTube channel, and there we play D&D. It's a load of fun. Now, today, we're finally bringing back Muldrotha. The reason this deck took me so long to bring together, and probably something that you can see from this shambles of a list, is that there are so many directions that you can take with this freaking deck that it's very, very difficult for me to actually decide on anything. So what I did was, I tried to have the best of all the worlds, and it's been doing okay so far, so that's nice. There's a lot of one-ofs in this deck. You shouldn't be playing decks, really, with one-ofs, but what's really nice about this is the fact that Muldrotha gets stuff back. It kind of means you're fine with one-ofs, so that said, this is meant to be just a normal mid-range deck that includes a lot of nice graveyard value. As you can see, we aren't playing things like Stitcher Supplier or Glowspore Shaman to directly dump things in our bin, but we do have a decent amount of incidental things going into our bin from some of our other relatively strong cards. So, that's totally fine. So let's hop into the deck list. We're running 2 Kaya's Ghostform, kind of the big thing that I loved when I saw from War of the Spark. This makes it so that if our Muldrotha dies, when this is equipped to it, Muldrotha comes back. And then we can use Muldrotha to recast Ghostform. But wait, there's more. You don't have to use it on Muldrotha. You can use it on any of your creatures and planeswalkers. I think we have like 2 enchantments and then 2 sorceries. And that's it. Everything else in the deck is either a creature or a planeswalker. So this card is very helpful, and it really gives you a lot of inevitability in certain situations. So for example, like you throw this on a Playcrafter, they're not going to want to kill your Playcrafter. It's a really awesome card. For Incubation Druids now, why aren't we running Llanowar Elves? There are several reasons for this. The main one being, we don't really want to ramp from 1 to 3, and what we really want our mana creatures to do is provide us some level of ramp, but it's not that early game ramp. We just want to be able to consistently play our higher end spells. So Incubation Druid fulfills that role, and it's not a terribly dead card in the late game, whereas Llanowar Elves kind of would be. 1, Vivien's Arkbow. This is one of the test cards. It seems okay, especially considering this can be done at instant speed, especially if we do end up, top-decking lands, flooding out in the late game. So far, we haven't really had an issue with that or anything, but the fact that this can just go ahead and pump all your lands, all your mana into this end of turn, discard a land that you just drew, and then get a thing is very helpful. Of note, it does only hit creatures, but still, we have plenty of creatures. 21 is totally fine for this. 2, Hydroid Krasis. This card's just strong, and the fact that you get to recast it with Muldrotha is freaking insane. So, yeah. 2, Playcrafters. Decent-ish removal. This is something that's nice because of the fact that you can either A, kill creatures, which is what it's usually going to be used for, B, kill planeswalkers, which is going to come up more than we'd prefer, or 3, if we really have to and our control opponent is doing stone nothing, we can force them to discard, which is, okay, especially if we're able to, like, sack a Incubation Druid or something like that. But, force them to discard, it's okay. 3, Leyline Prowler. I love this card. It has lifelink, which is actually mattered in 2 of these games, and the fact that it adds a mana of any color. Incubation Druid, we do actually need to have the land in order to get the extra, like the double blacks or triple blues. But Leyline Prowler doesn't have that issue. It just gives you the mana, and the fact that it has lifelink is so helpful. 1, Vivien, Champion of the Wilds. This allows us to cast creatures with flash. I should note that Muldrotha does not give you any, you're not really casting anything from your graveyard. She's like letting you. She's giving you permission. So you can't really do that with Vivien, because it specifies on your turn. But what is nice still, we can cast things with flash, and we can give a creature Vigilance and Reach. Might help sometimes, but -2, you get to get a creature. Yay. Yeah, so it's a okay card. I'm definitely seeing how this stacks up to Kiora. So speaking of Kiora, she is, 7 chunkus worth of loyalty. -1 untapped target permanent. Essentially ramp, right? She's kind of like, hey, I can do extra things with my Leyline Prowler and whatnot. If I did have Vannifar in the deck, she would help with Vannifar as well, but I don't have Vannifar in the deck because I have a ton of Planeswalkers. If I were to make more of a creature-centered deck with Vannifar, which I will probably do at some point, Kiora would still be pretty good there. Her static ability, though, is not as strong because, we do have some things that'll come in and trigger it, but, most of our creatures are relatively small, so it's whatever. And then, of course, a single Journey to Eternity. I would probably only ever have this as a single card, just because of the fact that, we can be blown out at instant speed with removal and things like that. But what's really nice is that when you're able to get it off, it's pretty dang good. We do have a few ways to kill our own things. Okay, we have one way. No, we have a few. We have Playcrafter as well as Liliana, so, it's totally fine. But other than that, it just, you put this on a thing, and then your opponent doesn't want to kill it, just like Kai's Ghostform. It's very helpful. 3 Hostage Takers. We don't like when our opponent has things, and we can't really afford to play non-permanent cards, so this is our removal. For what it's worth, it can also hit artifacts, although that really isn't going to be too much of an issue. But it's always nice to be able to take something from your opponent, even if it's just like against aggro, where you're taking it and you block and they like blow you out or something. You still have gained that value of not taking damage from the creature you took, as well as the creature that you were able to block, so it's still good. 2 Storrevs. I really liked how she worked in the zombies list, and from what I've played in the practice games, she actually works pretty well. She's a very threatening card, and since we have so many creatures and planeswalkers in our deck, this is just kind of carte blanche to just draw whatever we need, because we do mill ourselves a decent amount. And speaking of milling ourselves, Jace, Wheeler of Mysteries. It's a triple blue cost, but that hasn't been an issue so far. Essentially, we just had this for the +1. We get to draw a card and we bin 2 cards. Helps our spread a little bit. It's very nice. And if you get this to 8, you can just draw 7 cards. You're probably not gonna win the game immediately, but drawing 7 cards is pretty dang good. And if you have it in conjunction with Underrealm Lich, then you probably will, because that would go through 21 cards. Because Underrealm Lich replaces your draw, which I guess I'll talk about now. Really great thing about Underrealm Lich. Oh wait. But if I would draw, so never mind. But it is still nice that we are going to be unable to just like die horribly to mill, because this card means that we don't actually draw. We just pick the top one of the top 3, and we put the rest in the graveyard. Always helpful. Also has indestructible. I don't want to say Death Touch. I just like Death Touch. Okay, so that's very helpful. Tamiyo, Collector of Tales, makes it so we can't discard or sacrifice permanents, which is very nice. I should say it makes it so our opponents can't. So if we play Playcrafter, we still have to sack something. But the fact that, this just shuts off things like Fodder Rager if they get to that point is very helpful. If our opponents play Playcraft or something like that, or they use Priest Forgotten Gods, we don't care. We're going to be like, nah, go away. +1 is nice because you can dig for something particular that you need. If you're looking for Kai's Ghostform for protection, if you're looking for a finality to get you out of a bad situation or something, you can look for it, and even if you don't find it, you're putting 4 cards in your graveyard to use with the rest of your cards. Is very helpful. And then of course her -3 allows us to get something from a graveyard that we actually want at the time, so very, very helpful card. I definitely see her possibly going up to 2 copies at least. Now we're playing a bunch of 1-drops in the 1-ofs in the 5-drop slot. We have Biogenic Ooze, because this card is awesome. You can absolutely run ham on your opponent by just every turn, just tap mana, just make more oozes. Totally fine. Underrealm Lich, we already talked about. Eldest Reborn is just a fantastic card in conjunction with Muldrotha, because of the fact that you get the first 2 things of value. Sure, who cares? If your Muldrotha's in the graveyard, this goes to the graveyard, you get the Muldrotha immediately, because you'll have priority because of how things work. You'll be able to recast the Eldest Reborn, which is awesome. So if they kill the Muldrotha by then, you can just get it back again. The loops are so good. Was it Father, Can I Have Loops or something? Vivien Reid, more kind of removal type thing for artifacts and enchantments this time, and it can hit things flying, who cares. +1, we get to look at stuff. That's what we want. We only hit creatures, but as I said, the majority of this deck is permanents. Decent amount of those are creatures. And then -8, we win. 2 Find Finalities. Find allows us to get back 2 specific creatures that we need from our graveyard, from all of our milling and things, or we just use Finality. This version is actually much more likely to use the Finality because of the number of Planeswalkers that we have. We don't really care as much as about our creatures dying, and the fact that we do have, since we have Leyline Prowler, we have a few more cards that will actually survive, right? I think it's like only these, and then Biogenic Ooze, if we did it the exact same turn, which we wouldn't. So, a lot of our things will survive a Finality, so that's totally cool. And of course, Muldrotha the Gravetide. Usually I have her as a 2-of in a deck, but I don't see her enough when I do that. So even though it's technically better to just play like a Sultai-esque mid-range deck that includes 2 Muldrothas is probably better. I'm going all in because I love this card so much. I really want them to implement Brawl so I can play this as a Brawl deck. You know, you never have to worry about not drawing Muldrotha. You get it every time that you want it, and it's very helpful. That said, we get to just play things from our graveyard. She is so cool, and I hope you guys get to see her. Oh my gosh, this deck tech is running long because there's so many one-ups. Liliana, Dreadhorde General. Stuff dies, we get to draw things. We can make a creature or -4. The -9 is never going to happen. Vraska, she makes creatures and she destroys things. Awesome, this is our mana base. We have 1 Memorial Folly to get things back. Yeah, cool. I'll talk about things in the sideboard after I play some games. I'm playing this in play mode, although the 3 games that I played were mono white, Boris, and Grixis control. So that's fun. I did win all of them. Going against Dark Dan. And he was the dark dude. Oh, fucking Kate, man. Kate, what are you gonna play? Kind of a slow hand. Especially since we're going seconds. This is terrible if our opponent has, you know, aggressive start, but you know, we do have the mana, so I think I will keep this. Hydroid Krasis can maybe help us come back from it if this is an aggressive hand. Start off with Elves. That is potentially a horrible, terrible problem if they can go into a Steel Leap Champion here. Kind of just like that's just too. Oh, don't you do it to me? Ah. Yeah, we're dead. I mean, even if we had like an Incubation Druid here, next turn I'd be able to play Hostage Taker, I guess. But still, like this is just a ridiculous start. And maybe they don't have anything else. Right? Right? Please? Stop. It's an interesting choice. 7, I mean, they can kill Kiora, but that is 7 damage, and that's not going to my face. So I'm going to absolutely play Kiora.
I hope you don't mind if I take my octopus for a walk?
And note, I had a 3-land hand on the draw with 25 lands in the deck. I'm going to be kind of sad if I don't draw a 4th land soon. By soon, I mean immediately. Alright, well, yeah, they're just chunking toward my face, so that's, you know, horrifying. What are you doing? Oh, you're just trying to chungus me. I'm at 3 now. Well, I didn't draw the mana, but at least she's alive, so I can, you know, hope to not die. I'll play a Hostage Taker, take the Steel Leaf. I can block the Kavu. Then I go to 2. This is bullshit. I mean, if I drew a land, right? Like, drawing a land would mean that I could just play the Hostage Taker. I'm probably dead. They probably just have another instant. But I mean, even if I had an okay hand, I don't even know how I would get past this. Nah, yeah, I was dead the entire time. There was nothing I could do about that. Right, let me just, if I had my Incubation Druids, 3, 4... It's debatable, but yeah, first loss with the deck so far, so yeah, that's whatever. First game was against Mono White, like straight up Mono White aggro. We were able to survive, honestly, because of Kaya's Ghostform on Leyline Prowler. I was able to block a Loxodon, and then the following turn block a token where the Leyline Prowler survived, and because I had that extra 4 life from the Leyline Prowler, plus the damage that I prevented from blocking, plus the extra mana, I was able to, you know, outpace my mono white opponent's deck. So that was very cool. This is a good hand. You know, we have this into this. Seems decent. Gates. Interesting. So I think I'm actually going to go into Incubation Druid. Yeah, this is the actual Gates deck. So I think... Well, sorry. I think I'm going to not go into Storrev. I think what I'm going to do is play out the Journey to Eternity onto my Incubation Druid, so that once they actually do end up casting Gates Ablaze, I'll be able to, you know, get some value out of it. Yes, I think that's the correct decision. Also ramps me in that situation, because if I play an Incubation Druid, they absolutely are going to Gates me, and they could play another Gate and Gates me, and I'd lose my Storrev as well. So I do think this is probably just the best choice. It's definitely slow. You know, it does slow me down, especially if I don't draw land. but I do think it's the correct thing to do. Obviously, they could be running Lava Coils, but, you know, they Lava Coil and Incubation Druid. It's not the end of the world, I suppose. Guild Summit? Sure. Cool. Oh, they played it. Yeah, that was an oops on their part. So I can play Jake from State Farm. I think I want to play Jake from State Farm. Yeah, I want to play Jake from State Farm.
You've already lost.
I'm just going to target myself.
How you play the hand you're dealt.
Sure. I'm going to do this to myself because of the fact that I do know the Gates deck does have a few cards that care about being in the graveyard. Cough, cough, Colossus. Oh, this is that version. Cool. By cool, I mean fudge.
It's a matter of give and take.
Well, I would prefer to have a land here. I could double up on Incubation Druids to try and get a dank Krasis next turn, so I think that's what I'll do, actually. Right? Because I don't... I mean, I guess I could play Storrev instead. And Storrev can attack, get back a Vivien, blow up their... Yeah, I think Storrev is probably a better choice here. Yeah, I do wish I hit another land, but, you know, Castlevania and all that. Second game was against Boros, and it was pretty much the exact same as the mono-white matchup, except it was... Wait, what? It's completely different. I was able to go Hostage Taker on their Swift Blade, and then Hostage Taker again on their Swift Blade. Oh, and then I did this thing where I drew my third Hostage Taker, and I Hostage Take their Swift Blade because they got it back because they killed one of my Hostage Takers that blocked. So, you know, that was cool. Yeah, we're just going to eat this, I guess. Ow. I need to find a way to get rid of that. Why did I eat this? Why didn't I block? Ugh. So dumb. Can I draw a land, please? I would love it if I could draw land. Hell yeah. Alright, so we're definitely going to do this. We're going to murder this gentleman.
You'll regret this.
We're going to attack with Storrev. I'll get back Vivien so that next turn I can blow this up. Hopefully I'm not dead, though. That was such a mistake not blocking with this. Ugh. So dumb. Because if I blocked with this, I would have had another land, and I would have been able to play another Incubation Druid here. Which, you know, might not seem like a lot, but it would potentially matter. So let's see what they have. Alternatively, I could have just Vraska this, but no, I think it's slightly safer to do this. You're going to expansion... Nope, you're going to do that. And just give it haste and attack my Vraska, is my assumption. I do think I can outgrind them. Yep, they kill my Vraska, that's totally fine with me.
I can't go back empty-handed.
Shut up. Okay, Woodland Cemetery is very nice. Okay. I am going to mill myself, I suppose. Just to see what I can draw.
Let's think this.
Draw all my druids. Vivien's Arkbow is actually pretty decent here. 34. I don't only attack with Storrev, right? And just get Vraska back. Could play Kiora as well. She helps me untap things. I'll just get Vraska. I do think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Blow this up. Yeah, I think it's fine, honestly. Blow this to smithereens.
I'm sorry. Were you using that?
Don't know why I said oops. Then I'm going to go ahead and play this. I'm going to lose both of these. I would like to be able to potentially block with my Incubation Druid, please. Just in case they play another Rhythm of the Wilds into a boar, although I think, or not a boar, a ram. Though I'm pretty sure a ram would kill me, so, yeah, who cares. They're gonna kill Vraska again. Nope, they go to my face, which is horrifying. Am I gonna die to expansion now? Oh, no, I'm just gonna die to Banefire. Yep. I guess at some point I should have played Hydroid Krasis. Had so much going on there, but you know, Banefire. Just should I have not cared? Like I had to have cared about the rhythm, right? This is a pretty good looking hand. Yeah, seems good. Play this first. Yeah, I think I'm more fine taking 2 damage. Then we played against Grixis Control. We kept a 3-lander and like weren't drawing lands, which is unfortunate. But but we were just able to outvalue our control opponent thanks to Kiora. No, Tamiyo. Sorry. This might be combo goblins, right? This might be combo goblins. It could just be normal goblins, I suppose. Let's play a Prowler, and let's put a Ghostform on the Prowler, to be honest. Just so we can, you know, guarantee we have some nice life gain going on. And the next turn we can just Vivien's Arkbow, I suppose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might actually Incubation Druid. Yeah, it's goblins. I wonder if it's the combo. It could be, it might not be. So yeah, I'm gonna say screw all of that and just play a Biogenic Ooze. No attacks. I obviously could die if this is the combo. It very well could be. Gotta get some squeeze, gotta get a, no, risk factor. I'm just gonna take the damage. I have a Leyline Prowler. So yeah, them having risk factor kind of makes me think that it is. No, it's just goblins. So let's see, I can just keep making more oozes. If I play this untapped, 1, 2, 3, 4. I could play another Leyline Prowler if I do play this untapped. But I would use my Leyline Prowler this turn. Yeah, it's potentially super risky, but I'll do it. My assumption is they're going to Lava Coil my Leyline Prowler. They could hit my Biogenic Ooze, I suppose. But my assumption is they're going to kill my Leyline Prowler, because this only protects against... Oh! This was also just like the Bantus and things. This protects against Exile too! It's even better! Since I have double Leyline Prowler, I would... Yeah, so they do hit the Biogenic Ooze, makes sense. I would just take another risk factor blow to the face. While you're veteran, I assume you're going to kill one of my... I'm assuming you're going to kill that Prowler. I was about to say, you should not kill the leftmost Prowler. This Goblin, ugly. This Goblin, ugly. This Goblin, not bad. Looks like a monkey, but sure. So I can play Muldrotha. I mean, pretty sure this is just the correct answer. This keeps up my largest creatures, and I do have the potential to gain life with my Leyline Prowler. Oh, gosh, excuse me, I have to call the Planeswalkers. And then trap them here. There we go. So yeah, Vivien's Arkbow. Not looking as important. Back up to 14. Yeah, risk factor really doesn't matter to me, dude. Because I can keep gaming that sweet, sweet life. We're doing perfect there. Really? Okay. Your card think is first strike? Sure. No cards left in hand. The goblins can't have haste anymore. Is there a way for me to take 4 damage off the top? They could cast Light Up the Stage, but then they'd have 2 mana left. I guess they could use Skirk Prospector, so theoretically, they could Light Up the Stage into double Lightning Strike, sack their board, or sack 2 of their creatures and kill me. So I think I will just attack with... fuck off. I think I will just attack with Leyline Prowler then, just to make sure I'm at 6. And then end the turn. Next turn I'll be able to get whatever card I desire off of Underrealm Lich. So we should be fine. Yep, my turn, thank you. I'm just gonna go ahead and get a Muldrotha. I'm just gonna play a Muldrotha. I can play land. Cool. Now I'm just going to attack in again with my Leyline Prowler. I don't want to go all out just yet. I want to make sure I'm actually, like, stable. So, next turn, I can play another Leyline Prowler. I can play my Tamiyo. Yeah, pretty good. I'm curious, actually. So, I don't have, like, a super boisterous personality and stuff. And, you know, theoretically, I could totally, like, ham it up for the camera, be over the top and stuff. I feel like that would be disingenuous. Disingenuine? Just... It wouldn't be genuine. But I'm curious if... So I do have a personality, right? You know, I like to sing and all that nonsense, and I like doing voices and things. And I don't obviously have to go to that level of being, like, super, like, annoying and shit. But would you all prefer if I was a little bit more animated? You know, this obviously wouldn't be like, what's up, YouTube, and all that stuff. It wouldn't be like that. But it would just be, you know, it'd be me, but a little bit... It'd be more me, if that makes any sense. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about that, because I'm totally fine, you know, exploring my YouTube space, exploring how I go about things. You fucking truck, go away. Another Gates deck. You know, meh, I suppose. Next turn I can play Vivien Reid, which is cool. Growth Spiral? Don't care. Getting down to Vivien Reid's pretty good early on, because I'm going to be able to just gather resources, threaten to blow up any enchantment that they end up playing.
How this thing goes is up to you.
The how this thing goes is up to you now. Hydroid Sacred's interesting, but I think Hydroid Krasis is what I want more. At this point, we have, you know, 5 mana or 5 mana without Leyline Prowler, so I'm totally fine with Leyline Prowler dying. Circuitous Roots, yeah, it's fine. You know, they're ramping a bit. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go and play this. Gonna go and plus this.
You can't stop nature.
I think Storrev seems pretty decent. I played a land already. Play another land next turn. I feel like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can play Underrealm Lich and put a Ghostform on Vivien, and then next turn Krasis. Or I could play Kiora, 2, 3, untap. I have 4 mana left. Not a lot of mana to work with, unless I played Storrev. Sure, I'll do that. So I'll go ahead and do this. I think I fucked myself on the mana. Oop, cancel. No, that's fine. Untap this, please.
Let's get moving.
Play this. So they could Gates of Blaze here, which is fine. I draw a card from that, which is nice. Next turn, I can utilize Kiora to get a big Hydroid Krasis. Yeah, that's totally fine with me. Because I still got my sweet creatures. Gate Colossus? Sure. I can playcraft that if I really have to. Because soon Vivien's gonna be value incarnate. Hydroid Krasis, so we're gonna go in. Just gonna playcraft this. We only have one of them. So I'm like inclined to just playcraft it.
Meet my newest friend.
Ooh. Ooh. 1, 2, 3. So I can pay 6 total mana here. So I think what I'm going to do is Kaya's goes for my Vivien. Then play an Incubation Druid. Untap my Overgrown Tomb and play Playcrafter, sacking my Incubation Druid. Should I sack my Incubation Druid? Maybe I should sack my Playcrafter.
I love to make a splash.
Because then I have mana. Or more mana, I should say, next turn. I think I'll do that instead. Yeah, I think that's fine. So next turn when I ultimate Vivien, she'll come back immediately, which is helpful. Because then I don't have to worry about... Gross Battleshare. Then I don't have to worry about them playing a enchantment that I want to get rid of. That said, I mean, they can... If they draw a bunch of cards with a Guild Summit, then I don't care. So it looks like they're going to kill my Vivien, which, you know, makes sense. They don't want me to ultimate it. But I'll get her back immediately. And if Kiora is still around, I can untap sufficient number of lands to cast Muldrotha and then get back Kaya's Ghostform. I probably put it on my Muldrotha. It makes more sense to do so. Let's see if our opponent wants to end this game anytime soon. You didn't even kill my Vivien.
Most wounds can heal.
Interesting. That's fine. I mean, it makes sense that they don't want to kill it because then they just get value or whatever. Balance comes. I'm gonna land just so I can run lands back to back. Here I don't hate Muldrothing. Do I have enough mana? I'm at a decent amount of life. So I can cast Muldrotha and get a 2-drop? That's it? Really? Me RB sad. No, I don't have an Incubation Druid. I thought I did. Alternatively, I could play a Hydroid Krasis for 2, 4, 6. Hydroid Krasis for 6 seems fine. Because actually, I draw 4 cards.
Surges, life thrives.
Because of Kiora. Cool. Oh no, I have to discard a card. So this is fine. Gates of Blaze, oh no. It's fine, I have 2 Planeswalkers. Gatebreaker Ram doesn't have haste, so I don't care. Let's, you know, plus.
No one knows the wilds like I do.
Sure, let's take an Ooze, I suppose. Then we're going to play a Hostage Taker. Yoink. Might as well immediately cast it, honestly. There's very little reason to make it so that they can just play it again. Don't need to do anything with this. Just pass. I mean, this is what I expected the other Gates deck to play out. Like, this deck seems to be really good against Gates, but I died to a Banefire, so as long as you keep your health relatively high, I think against the Gates deck you're heavily favored. And against aggro, try to have creatures in play.
Come to me.
I'm just gaining so much freaking value, dude. Oh my god, dude, look at all this value, man. 34 cards. Whatever, I'll play Muldrotha now. If he dies, he dies. Let's untap this, because who cares?
One drop ripples and grows.
Just get me a Leyline Prowler. Actually, they have 1 card less in hand? Playcrafter, bruh. I don't need your freaking gate breaker ran. Negate. Who do you think this is? Negate. Wow. Yeah, so I assume my opponent's gonna concede pretty soon, or not. I guess I'll keep winning. Plus.
I've seen things that would break someone like
I've
you.
seen things that would break someone like you. Yeah, I don't know, cast a Liliana or something. Is that a Planeswalker in here?
Your corpse will make an
I already played a land.
excellent minion.
It's weird. I don't know, plus.
What a good, mindless minion.
Let's untap a land, why not? Let's play Storrev because I
Nature
can.
flows with vigor.
What's up, fam? Just the absolute demolishing of our opponent here. The savagery on display. Land, I don't care. I kind of want them not to concede because I kind of want to win with Jace now. But I mean, it's hard to see me losing this game. I'm at 21. I have a board full of creatures. If my board full of creatures die, I have a 3 planeswalkers, 4 next turn. You know, so I'm in such a overwhelming position. Where the hell are you over there? You should be over here. You should be there. You should be here. There we go. Everything has been set. Ah! There you go. Yeah. All right. Well, what are you doing, opponent? I should shut my damn mouth. That's fine. I still win, right? I still kill my opponent. They can -4 Liliana to kill these. Kiora does nothing. Vivien Reid, she's still enchanted, isn't she? Oh, no, because it's a creature planeswalker that I control.
The wilds are my shield.
Sure. You need exactly... Oh, yeah, you have... If he gets the gate colossus, you can play it. But, I mean, that also dies. Wait. Did you fail to find? Didn't you put it on top? Oh, he didn't! Oh! Yeah, that was a mistake on my opponent's part. If they knew they were taking this... What are you doing?
Good help is easy to find in war.
Yeah, my opponent's made a couple of mistakes there. I'm just gonna take this zombie and kill my opponent. Yeah, they could have got a... I mean, the thing is, even if they did get a Gate Colossus, you know, I still had the Hostage Taker. But I think what they should have done is put... Like, if they knew they were stealing these, they should have put the Gate Colossus back on top. -4 to Liliana. I would have had to lose 2 things. They would have gotten the Gate Colossus back. And then, theoretically, on board, they weren't dead. But they made the decision to die, I suppose. I'm actually going to do packs first, because I know not everyone cares about the sideboard discussion, especially considering this sideboard discussion is going to be kind of long. Opens packs. Opens packs. I really need to get the green screen. I'd probably just end up buying one for the summer since school's out for summer. Alright, so this is going to be the sideboard discussion. Feel free to skip ahead to the end of the video. Because you love me and you watch all of the video. These are just going to be cards that I'm not running, and I'll very briefly explain why I'm not running them. Stitcher Supplier, as I said, this isn't meant to be a deck that actively looks to chungus things in the graveyard. Yeet things in the graveyard, that's what I mean. So we're just not playing it. Llanowar Elves, as I said, is just kind of a dead draw late game, and we don't really need to ramp till 3, or ramp 2-3. Dead Weight is a fantastic early game removal spell, and if I were trying to make this a best of 3 deck, I would absolutely run 2 or 3 Dead Weights in the sideboard for those early game creature decks because of the fact that you can replay them consistently with Muldrotha. Fountain of Renewal, it's a decent card. It's a permanent that allows you to gain life against the aggressive decks. I could maybe see putting 1 or 2 on the sideboard if you really are desperate for life gain, and the fact that it draws a card means that it doesn't become dead in the late game against aggro when you're just trying to finish out the game before you get burned to death. Excuse me. But overall, it just isn't impactful enough in the main deck to warrant a slot. Eternal Taskmaster is a pretty cool card for what the deck is doing. That said, it is a little bit better to just have it in a deck that is looking to dump things in the graveyard. So things like Stitch Supplier and Ghostform Shaman. I might actually try to make a Reanimator deck where we do just dump things in the bin and play the cards that get them back either to our hand or the battlefield. So that's something I might do, but for this specific deck, it didn't matter. Crawler Pooner is a card that I would play in the sideboard against things like Drakes and stuff like that. Because since we are going to incidentally have some cards in our graveyard, it is a pretty decent card. I wouldn't have very many of them because of the fact that, if we have access to Muldrotha, we get to play it all over and over again, but, whatever. Merfolk Branchwalker, Wildgrowth Walker, and Jadelight Ranger. The Explore package would pretty much objectively make this deck better, but it wouldn't make it more fun, right? It would just make it more just a Sultai mid-range list that happens to have Muldrotha, and that's not what I was trying to do with this deck, so that's why it's not in. Ghostform Shaman, similar to Stitch Supplier, I'm not going to repeat it. Search for Escanta. The first part is nice because you can either get the card to your hand or put it into the bin, but once you flip it, you can only really ever hit Planeswalkers, and there weren't sufficient amount of Planeswalkers for me to really justify this. For what it's worth, it does ramp you as well because of the fact that we are incidentally going to be able to dump some cards in the bin. This might flip faster than other decks, but it just doesn't fulfill enough of a role to see play in the deck. Finale of Eternity and Finale of Devastation are cards that I really did want to try and have room for in the deck because Finale of Eternity is a really cool way to destroy creatures, and if for some reason we have this big mana advantage where we're going to be able to get all of the creatures back from our bin, that would be really awesome. But it's just too mana intensive. Even though we're running 25 lands, we just never have a sufficient amount of mana for me to make this feel great. I should run a Finale deck that does have a sufficient amount of mana, and Finale's everything, but then I realized that it would not... I would have to play creatures as well. I don't know. I'll think about it, because it's a really interesting thing. Finale of Devastation, we get to tutor for a specific creature and put it into play. That's awesome. If we're able to get X to be 10 or more, our creatures on field get a buff and they gain haste, and that's really cool. But I was kind of testing out Vivien's Arkbow instead of this. And once again, it is relatively mana intensive, right? If I want to go get a Hostage Taker, I have to pay 6 mana for it. And, that's not something terribly hard to get, unless Arena screws you on mana, and I can't guarantee that it won't. Deathgorge Scavenger, really nice against the other graveyard-based decks. There aren't a ton, but, it does incidentally hit things like Arclight Phoenix and things like that. So it is helpful. If you are facing against a lot of decks that care about the graveyard, you can throw this in the sideboard, but I think for right now, it's not really needed. District Guide and Eldest Rejuvenator. You can play these instead of Leyline Prowler, but why? Leyline Prowler is just awesome. Eldest Rejuvenator can get you that immediate ramp that doesn't die to removal, and just District Guide can just put the land in your hand, which means it doesn't ramp you, but it doesn't ramp you, but it does give you a bit of consistency. But I don't care. I would rather play Leyline Prowler because 1, it's a nightmare, and 2, it has lifelink. Thrashing Brontodon is a sideboard option against, for some reason, enchantment and artifact decks. I don't know why the heck you'd be playing against them, but you might. God, I also need to make Saga Proliferate. There's so many decks. Thief of Sanity is a great card, but it's played a little bit too much. So that's essentially the reason why I didn't play in this deck. Gift of Paradise is awesome. You can, instead of having counter renewal, you can put this in the deck, which is really cool. If you did, though, I would suggest running like a single Evolving Wilds, just so that sometimes you're going to be able to, sack Evolving Wilds, replay it with Muldrotha, and then play this under the Evolving Wilds, so you can keep getting that 3 life trigger. So that's something that you can think about, but it's whatevs. Deliver Unto Evil. We have a lot of stuff in our graveyard, so that's cool, but our opponent gets to choose, so that's not cool. And we don't have Bolas, so that's less cool. Yeah. Chupacabra, I just prefer to have the option of Hostage Taker. Sometimes it does bite you because Hostage Taker isn't always a permanent solution, but the fact that 1, Hostage Taker has 3 toughness, and 2, it can hit artifacts, and 3, it can get around destruction. So this can deal with a Danto Vanguard, or Hostage Taker can deal with a Danto Vanguard, but Ratchet Chupacabra can't, right? So that fact alone makes me just prefer the Hostage Taker, especially considering the fact that Ratchet Chupacabra is ugly as fuck. Golgari Finebreaker is cool, but it's double black, double green, and I'm like, nah, that's too much. Prime Speaker Vanifar, I really wanted her to be in the deck, but I think I'm going to have to make a Vanifar-specific deck. Vanny is still, she's still up there in the list of bays, but she just unfortunately wasn't good enough in this build because we didn't really have sequences to go through. Cash Me Outside. That's her name, by the way. It's Cash Me Outside. She's interesting because it makes it so that the things that we play are more difficult for opponents to deal with. but she comes down on 4. The -2 is okay because we get to draw a card and bin something that we don't really care about binning because we have graveyard synergy, but she just doesn't do enough for the deck to really warrant her in here. Ill-Gotten Inheritance, I just love this card, and I'm going to bring it up all the time. You can use it and then get it back with Muldrotha. It's so cool. It only costs, 10 mana a turn. I mean, for what it's worth, 10 mana repeatable drain is not terrible. Vraska Golgari Queen helps. She sacrifices things. We don't have a sacrifice theme, so that's one tick off for her. The -3 is okay, but it only hits, things that CMC 3 or less. The -9 is great, but I just couldn't justify this in space of specifically Tamiyo. I think Tamiyo is just a significantly better card for this deck. Massacre Girl is really cool because she kills everything, but she also kills everything, which would include Muldrotha if Muldrotha's on the field. So, yeah, I really wanted to play her, but no. Tatiova, always awesome in a value deck where you're going to be playing like lands and things like that, but she is just a 5-mana 3/3, and that's too weak. Carnage Tyrant. Good against control, but I'd rather play memes. Izoni, we are only running 21 creatures, so I felt she just wasn't sufficient, and I'd rather play the other high-end cards that I did. Lyle the Giant. People keep wanting me to play this card, but it's just not good. Maybe I'll put it in the Reanimator deck, but this card has never been good for me because it costs 7, and I'm always dead by then. Pluckworm is awesome, but I just couldn't fit it in the deck. And Molderhulk is really cool, but, this, as I said, isn't a deck that's trying to do Molderhulk things, so, it's not in the deck. So after all of that, I do hope you've enjoyed this. One of those wins was with Everything Dies deck, but, 5 wins is not bad. For first foray back into Muldrotha. Let me know if you want to see more of Muldrotha, because I think she's really cool. And of course, I'd like to thank my lovely patrons, especially Salamander, Croft, Zin, and Rexel, for their continued support. If you'd like to join them in supporting the channel on Patreon, you'll find links at that down in the description below, or you can just hit that join button, become a channel member. In the description below, you'll also find links to my Anti-Hub account, where I host all of my deck lists, including this one, or you'll find links to my Discord server, where we chat and play games and all that shit. Anyway, I do, of course, hope you've enjoyed this video. It's much later than I'd like it to be. And I still have more papers to grade. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, go and tap that like button, add subscription to your mana pool, cast a comment in the comment section down below, pass a turn in the vid to some of your friends, and of course, until next time, all will be one. I was holding in a burp that entire time.